name is Kunal Fabiani. I'm the CEO for Americas and Africa and based out of our Dubai office, from where we help customers, clients of all types of industries, set up companies worldwide. Certainly. PTPMA, basically PT is a limited liability company. PTPMA is a limited liability company that has partial or full foreign ownership. That's the only difference. Otherwise, legally, they're the same type of entity, which is a limited liability company, but a PT is usually reserved only for Indonesian full ownership, and a PMA is where there is some level of foreign ownership. And obviously, a PMA is subject to Indonesian FDI regulations. Well, setting up a limited liability company or a PMA for foreign investors gives a certain level of guarantees to foreign parties that their businesses are protected in the country, and there's some sort of legal framework that protects their investments, right? We will touch later about the actual FDI requirements in terms of investment commitments in Indonesia. But basically, this FDI regulations that govern a PMA give some sort of guarantees to a foreign investor that they can do business freely and within the framework in Indonesia. Sure, an LLC with FDI in Indonesia is basically the PMA or PTPMA. And the basic requirements are, first of all, you need to appoint at least one director who is either an Indonesian national or a foreign individual with a local work permit, who holds a local work permit, which is known as KITAS. Secondly, you need at least 2 shareholders. Now, there is no requirements for the shareholders. They can be individuals or corporations, Indonesians or foreign, right? So that's the structure. And lastly, you need to appoint the equivalent of a COO, which in Indonesia is the role of the commissioner, which again can be any of the foreign directors, and there's no requirement for that commissioner to be resident in Indonesia. Now, that's the structure of a PMA. When it comes to FDI regulations, foreign companies, depending on the industry they operate in and the scope of work that they're going to do in Indonesia, they will have a minimum level of commitment, right? So the standard level of commitment is, let's say, approximately in US dollar terms, $750,000, right? But there is no set time frame to realize that investment. It could be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, depending again on the business activity, right? And the requirements of the business. But the share capital amount is roughly around 200,000 US dollars, or in Indonesian rupees is around 10 billion Indonesian rupees, which again is a commitment from the foreign investor, to allocate that capital for the operations of the company, right? So that's the main difference between the PMA and a PT, a locally owned company. Advantages may come from registering a PMA is that obviously the Indonesian government will offer tax breaks or tax incentives and other certain incentives for clients or customers that are investing in particularly interesting target industries, right, in Indonesia, which obviously the country would need FDI to obviously reach the next level and obviously grow in the economic outlook. Certainly. So, well, we have vast knowledge and years of experience in assisting especially foreign entrepreneurs and individuals to set up their investments in Indonesia, obviously selecting the right sort of corporate structure in terms of legal terms, guiding them in what sort of incentives would be they'd be eligible for in the country, in terms of as well as identifying niche industries that they could capitalize on, and obviously help them with the regulations and the potential roadblocks that an investor could face if they were to go solo.